Hi, my name is Kelvin Newman and welcome to the Brighton SEO podcast, where we share talks from one of the world's most popular search marketing conferences. The event started out as a few people meeting in an upstairs room of a pub and is now attended by over 3,000 people from all over the world. This episode is a recording of one of the speakers at a recent event.
We have first up Miss Chloé Bodard. She is Senior Performance Manager at Ricemedia, search and social digital marketing agency based in Birmingham.
Hi guys, so I'll talk about quick wins that you can get from just running a few technical checks on your site. So first thing, I'm not a dev, so these checks and their implementation will be actions that pretty much any kind of SEO can implement themselves. Quick wins, so by quick wins I mean stuff that you can kind of implement quite quickly, that you can spot quite easily, so it's not something that will take months to implement and you'll be able to see the results really promptly. So your go-to tools will be DeepCool, obviously, Screaming Frog, Analytics, and Search Console. So tools that you can use very easily and that most SEOs and agency would have access to. So the top SEO quick wins that we're going to go through are 301 redirects, robust Txt File, optimization, canonical tags, and sitemaps. Results that you can expect. So this is one of my clients, actually. They had massive 301 redirect issues, and the sitemap was an absolute mess. By fixing it, we managed to increase organic transactions year-on-year by over 7%. And this is another one of my clients, much smaller site, but again, a lot of relative links throughout and canonical errors, which by fixing, we managed to increase organic goal completion by 138%. So the first one that we'll go through is 301 redirects. So you'll mostly have issues if you're having a new site, if you had previous domains, if you just change the URL structure, migrate it to HTTPS, or use relative links throughout your site for interlinking. What to look for, you want to look for missing 301s, 302s, redirect chains, and unnecessary directs. How to spot and fix the issue. So use Screaming Frog. It's a really easy one. You can just look out on the internal tab or response codes tab, or even on the right-hand side. You can also export reports for unnecessary directs and redirect chains to really spot them easily. And at the bottom, you can even see kind of the page where the redirect is, where it's linking from, the anchor text and everything. So that was one of our clients. They rushed the migration, so we found loads of 301s and broken redirects just because they decided to go ahead without being ready. I'm sure it happens to everyone. So we fixed all the redirect chains, and you can literally see how the visibility just jumped. So a few tips. You want to make sure all your 301s are set up from full page or all pages. Please update all your internal links as well, whether you're changing the preferred version of the site, whether you're migrating to HTTPS. Make sure that there's no redirect chains. Make sure that every single link points straight to the final URL, because otherwise you're just wasting your core budget. And also, please use 301s, except if the move is temporary, then 301s, no 302s. You don't want to forget about older versions of your site. So if you had a previous domain, if you have high-quality links linking back to your site, if they have to redirect quite a few times to reach the final destination, you're losing a lot of link juice. So please try and update these backlinks. Go through your top pages and analytics as well. If they fall for, you're losing so much traffic, so make sure they redirect straight to the final URL as well. Same with the previous domains, and of course, go through your 404s in Search Console, make sure they all redirect. So it's really easy to do. Just use Screaming Frog, list mode. Always follow the redirects though, because otherwise you'll be missing out on some stuff. You can also upload list of URLs manually. So if you had previous domains, that would be really useful for you. The next one, robots Txt File. A lot of people make fun of me because of my accent when I say it, so please don't. So we all know where it is. Should be on the root of your site. You want to make sure that, except if you have different reason, that you allow all crawlers. And please include a link to your sitemap as well in there, a reference to your sitemap, sorry. So you want to, the main issues that you could have is, it sounds stupid and really obvious, but if you're having a new site, please first make sure that the staging site is disallowed completely. And when you do go live, remove the new index. There's so many clients who haven't done it. It sounds ridiculous, but please check. Don't disallow CSS and JavaScript files either. And you want to make sure that all URLs that you kind of are just for users are not in there as well, because otherwise you'll be wasting your call budget. So here are a few things to look for within your robots. So this is from Screaming Frog. You can text it. You can test it really easily. So one of our clients, no index, the folder index.php. Turns out it was on all of his category pages, so he was actually no indexing all of his category pages. He was also no indexing CSS and JavaScript. So just make sure to just test or at least your most important URLs. So that's another kind of case study. So that's the one who was no indexing all the category pages. So once that was sorted, visibility just grew. You can also use your robots to improve your call budget. So I'm not going to go too deep into that because I think it will be covered a bit later as well. I've got a nicer one. Here we go. So yeah, that's the call budget. How to optimize your crawl budget. So you just want to crawl your site. As I mentioned before, URLs which are just designed for users, you don't really want them on there. It'll just be a waste of time. So, you know, if you have wish lists or anything, just add them to it. There's no need for crawlers to go through them. So that's an example. So if you have tag, for example, wish list within an e-com site, just make sure they're in there. How to test it. So there's quite a few options. You can do it through Search Console, but your robot text file would need to be uploaded there, or you can just use Screaming Frog, and in there you can pretty much just test any directive you want within the robots and see whether the URLs would actually be no index or not. So it's a really good way to do it. A link to an amazing blog article that one of the team members has done if you want more information. Next one, optimization. This is fairly obvious, but I'm not going to talk about how to choose your keywords or anything. It's literally how to look at technical stuff and kind of make sure that all the technical aspect of optimization is there. So we'll go through page title, H1s, and meta description for click-through rate. What to look for, obviously, missing page title, H1 meta description, duplicates. You want to make sure you're targeting keywords within each of them, and you want to avoid them competing against each other. How to check, go through Screaming Frog again, just call your site, and then you can literally on the overview tab see everything. Then you can also filter it down by page titles, whether they're similar to H1, whether they're duplicates, etc. Once you've got that keyword targeting, so obviously just make sure that you're importing pages, you're targeting one single keyword based on your keyword strategy. You want to make sure that similar keywords, all these keywords are also in your H1 within the text, and that H2s are semantically relevant. For meta descriptions, use Search Console, Search Analytics report. It's literally a gold mine. You can we'll go through later. But yeah, you can really try and look into the data to then improve your click-through rate and get more traffic to your site. Have a look, is there any kind of pages which are ranking on top of page 2? By pushing it to page 1, you'll get so much more traffic to your site, so this would be a really good and quick win. And internal cannibalization, make sure pages are not competing against each other, otherwise you'll be diluting ranking. So you just want to kind of focus on one. If 2 pages are really, really similar, either canonicalize them or 301 redirect them and try and merge the content. So that's Search Analytics report. So for example, you can filter it by clicks, impression, and click-through rate. You'll get the URL before this little graph. Then you can see, for example, the ones circled, they have loads of impression, but click-through rate is lower than average. So look at the page, look at what keywords you're targeting, and literally try and tweak the page title and meta description as well. Maybe you need like a better CTA at the end of it to kind of encourage click-throughs. So optimization, we all know that it's really a quick win within weeks. You can literally just see results straight away. So just make sure they're all unique, optimized keywords. Look at your competitors as well. Look at the top rankers. What are they doing? Try and copy them. Try and tweak them. If something doesn't really work, tweak it again and retry. You can see the results really quickly. So it's really kind of trial and error with this. And yeah, it's just look at what your competitors are doing and just do it better than them. That's my favorite slide, by the way. Canonical tags. What issues to look for? So you can have quite a few issues if you use relative URLs. They could create many, many issues. Please do not have canonicals pointing to 404 pages or redirecting either. You always want to make sure that your preferred domain is there as well. And for listing pages, do not canonicalize listing pages. So this client changed their canonical tags to a non-preferred domain. So basically that was sending mixed signals to Google. Once we fixed it, literally you can see the dip straight away. Once we fixed it, visibility just jumped back up. For that, you can use deep crawl. Canonical report is amazing. Or you can have a look at Screaming Frog and also use the canonical error report. So the canonical tag will go in the head section of all your page. Please use absolute link, not relative links. You want to make sure that they match the preferred domain. Don't forget to update them when you migrate as well, because a lot of the time it's kind of overseen. For listing pages, you want to use rel, next, and prev tags, no canonical tags. And yeah, they should not be pointing to any page which 404 or 301s. Sitemaps. So sitemap will look like that. We all know that it's not going to improve your ranking straight away. It's just going to provide Google with a lot more information about your site, how to call it, etc. So it's really important. What issues to look for? There could be a lot of hidden errors within your sitemap. So you really want to kind of go through the list of URLs. You want to make sure that you don't have any pages in there which are not internally linked within your site. All your key pages, your top landing page, make sure they are in your sitemap as well. And if you don't want any pages in there, make sure they are no index. Well, you shouldn't have any no index pages or pages blocked by the Roberts Txt File within your sitemap either. How to check it? So again, deep crawl, sitemap report, amazing. It will highlight any kind of orphan URL that you have which is not linked from the site. Any pages missing from your sitemap to be added, and errors as well that you can fix. And otherwise, Search Console as well, you can submit your sitemap and check for errors. So it'll look something like this. Ideally, you want the same amount of URLs submitted and indexed. If you have any issues, you'll see a warning or error come in the little box there, and it'll kind of prompt recommendations on how to fix it. Sitemap guidelines. So obviously, XML is much better, especially if you have a big site or an e-com site. This is pretty much crucial. Check for errors within your sitemap. Make sure that all the pages in your sitemap are linked within your site. Use last modified date as well. Make sure it's used correctly there. That could kind of encourage crawlers to crawl your site a bit faster. And key pages must be in your sitemap as well. If you're using WordPress, Yoast, I'd say just use Yoast, it's the best. Although the default settings within the sitemap will kind of no index everything, so you need to make sure to go through all your settings. And if there's any page that you don't want in your sitemap, like tags, authors, and everything for blogs, just add them as well on no index, and it'll get rid of them in the sitemap. And our technical manager, Michelle, has written an amazing blog on sitemap, so you can find the link on it as well. So a few key takeaways for today. They're all really kind of quick technical wins, but the SEO benefits are really massive. So you can really run these checks, like if you have an hour there, an hour there, just run them, check them, test them. 301, just focus on redirect chains. Make sure that, they redirect straight away. Don't forget about your all domains, backlinks as well, top landing pages, just prioritize the way you're going to check them. Robert Txt File, just test it all the time, and also use it to optimize your crawl budget. Optimization, be strategic about it, and just look at your competitors, look at your top rankers. Don't hesitate to always tweak them, even if it's one every month, every 2 months, just do it. And make sure to use Search Console, Search Analytics Report. It's literally the best thing when it comes to optimization. Canonical tags, please use absolute links. It will avoid a lot of errors that you could have with them. Make sure as well that they point to pages which you do want Google to see and that they make sense. Sitemaps, there can be loads of errors, so this is a bit of a tricky one. It can take a lot of time to fix, but you need to make sure that all your important pages are in there, and that pages that you don't want in there are not in there, and that all your pages within your sitemap as well are linked instantly. Otherwise, Google will see them as doorway pages. Thank you.
This was originally recorded at a Brighton SEO conference. If you want to listen to more episodes or find out about the conference itself, you can do at brightonseo.com.